Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. The rainy season has officially started here in the Philippines, and with it comes heightened concerns over flooding and infrastructure preparedness. Joining us now via phone patch is the Department of Public Works and Highway Secretary Manuel Bonoan to share the agency's flood mitigation plans and preparations for this wet season. Secretary Bonoan, maraming salamat. Thank you so much for joining us here on It's a Beautiful Day.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning po sa ating mga listeners. Thank you for having me.
Secretary, simulan po na natin with the fact that the rainy season is now underway. When we talk about yung degree of preparedness ng DPWH with regard to possible flooding across the country, where are we in that regard?
Well, let me start by saying that when this administration, since 2020, middle of 2022 to since then, we have implemented numerous flood control projects all over the country, both on locally funded programs and foreign assisted projects in major river basins all over the country. And this year, once again, since the first quarter of this year, we have already started to implement all the flood control projects that are already included in the budget for 2025. So ongoing pa yung karamihan ngayon, but we are speeding it up so that these flood control projects would be ready in time for the rainy season. No? Well, there are projects kasi na malalaki and big projects that are funded in the major river basins of the country that are still ongoing, but they are being pursued relentlessly for their completion in due time.
Secretary, may mga areas ba na binibigyan ng urgent attention or priorities in terms of resources ng DPWH?
Yes, there are two. We are attacking it in two fronts. Two fronts actually. Yes. One is yung mga immediate locally funded projects to provide immediate relief to low-lying areas. No, I think there are so many areas that are now prone to flooding because of the problem of yung siltation in the main rivers. Over the years, kasi there has not been any concerted effort to desilt and dredge the rivers, so that's why the river beds are very shallow, and these are actually prone to flooding whenever there is a downpour. Now, the other thing is the major river basins, the mga malalaking ilog all over the country. There are 18 major river basins in the country that are now being attended to. One is also in Metro Manila, and like Pampanga, the Visayas and Mindanao as well. All these are being foreign assisted. Ibig sabihin, yung from official development assistance from foreign countries and multilateral lending institutions. So all these are still being pursued for the time being.
Secretary, I want to focus on yung mga highly urbanized areas po natin when it comes to yung drainage systems and flood control projects in respective regions po. Are there any status updates po on whether or not completed or in need to be expedited in time for the heavier part of the rainy season po?
Yeah, I think in urban areas, I think the flood control program being pursued by DPWH is just one of the components to address the flooding areas in urban areas. No? I think it has to be, as the President has been saying, it has to be done holistically and collaboratively with other agencies, including the local government units. Particularly, let's say, for example, in Metro Manila, I think, yes, there is infrastructure program that is now being undertaken along the Pasig Marikina flood river. I mean the river, but internal drainage in Metro Manila has to do with the efforts also of the local government units in terms of yung waste management, mga basura, and yung mga land use programs, yung mga ganon. See, we might have been doing yung mga infrastructure protection works along Pasig Marikina River, but then yung drainage system, kung matindi ang ulan at yung mga basura naman naiipon sa mga inlet, sa mga drainage, then ganoon din, magbabaha rin. So I think this is where the local government units should also participate in addressing the flooding problems in urban areas.
Secretary, you mentioned yung interagency effort na kailangan to address the floodings in different areas, not just in urban areas but then all over the country. When we take a look at yung gaano ka-importante yung interagency efforts in terms of responding to emergency situations po, how important is that partnership, especially when it comes to yung mga quick response po at emergency crews and equipment for really emergency purposes in the upcoming months?
I think we are now collaborating with the other agencies like the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. I think one of the, in the big river basins, we are actually collaboratively doing flood control programs. Kasi yung the watershed management program would have to be taken in conjunction with the DNR's effort also, no? Kasi sila nakakaalam dun sa mga watershed areas. But we have to put also infrastructure in the watershed areas for us to be able to provide the necessary infrastructures to contain muna yung mga flood waters from coming down, and then probably magagamit din for other purposes like irrigation or water supply and things like this. So these are being done already in the big major river basins programs. Ganun din dito sa Metro Manila. For example, in Metro Manila, we are now in the process of looking at the infrastructure requirements dito sa may Sierra Madre watershed area where the flood waters are coming down to Manila, no, to Metro Manila, by building up some dams, reservoirs.
Yes.
Para hindi pumasok agad yung rainwaters or flood waters in Metro Manila during the rainy season. Di ba? Ganon.
Opo. Secretary, when we talk about yung infrastructure po and of course the strategy when it comes to building, it's a long-term view. But when you take a look at yung impact po ng climate change recently, has DPWH adjusted yung pagplano nila in strategizing in terms of the infrastructure that they do plan to put up or are putting up to answer this particular threat?
Yes, of course. This is now a very important aspect in the implementation of flood control infrastructure projects. When before, ang design parameters namin actually that for infrastructure projects, we design them with it's a very technical issue. But ang sabi namin is yung return period, flood return period, ang ginagamit lang namin noon is either 15 to 20 years, no? Yung return period design requirements. Now, because of the climate change phenomenon, I think we have adjusted it either 50 years return period, and in some major basins even 100-year return period na yung ginagamit namin. So that these are the things that we are actually now considering in the implementation of the flood control programs that we are undertaking because of the climate change phenomenon.
Sir, when it comes to mga projects, when it comes to addressing climate change, what are the partnerships na napaka-importante po to work alongside agencies? You have to work alongside to make sure na science-based, database po ang decision-making po ninyo.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, of course, this is now the technical paradigm that we are actually using actually for the flood control programs now in addressing the flood problems in many areas of the country now.
Mhm. Sir, yung message nyo to the public as we deal with the increasing rains and flooding threats this season, particularly keeping in mind that towards the tail end po of last year, we did have a series of storms. I believe there was actually
Yeah,
4 storms that came
six,
in the 6 storms that came in
six
a short amount of
in
time, and I'm sure really
yeah.
stretching resources po ninyo. So what
Yeah.
message do we have for the public considering that yan yung latest memory po natin ng Tagulan?
Yeah, well, ito na rin. Ito nga yung mga climate change phenomenon. Last year, I think it was a very challenging season actually because you can just imagine 6 typhoons in I think 2 months. In 2 months. So I think responding to all the requirements at that time was a very challenging effort for all the government agencies involved, DPWH, DNR, local government, NDRRMC, and so forth and so on. But I think there are so many things that have to be done. Actually, yung warning systems and yung evacuation systems and all these things have to be prepared. Right now, I think the DPWH has, in the advent of the coming rainy season, our quick response quick response teams are also being prepared and going to be deployed anytime soon, actually, for us to help also in when there are calamities in these areas.
Secretary, we really appreciate the time you've taken out this morning to join us. That is Secretary Manuel Bonoan of the DPWH. Mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat and have a great morning.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Raul. Thank you very much.